everyone. Welcome back to the Dunk Shop, brought to you by Cadillac of New Orleans. I'm Jeff Duncan, columnist with NOLA.com and the Times-Picayune. I want to welcome you back to the program. Time once again for my Fearless Football Forecast. That means it's Friday. TGIF, everyone. And before I get into this week's games, I want to brag a little bit on my Week 1 performance. 3-0, off to an undefeated start. So let's see if I can continue the momentum into Week 2. I want to start off with the big game over in Starkville, Mississippi. LSU at Mississippi State. Two top 25 teams right off the bat. LSU didn't get that tune-up game in, so everybody's talking about them really needing that game and that they're going to miss having a game of experience under their belt. Brandon Harris is going to be thrown right into the fire. I've heard all the talk all week. Forget about that. LSU's more talented. I think they roll in this game. They're 4-point favorites. This is a place that can be difficult to play. There's no question about it. You get those cowbells rolling over there. It can be a little disorienting for the opponent. LSU's won there 7 times in a row. They're not going to be intimidated. And if you listen to Les Miles talk at his press conferences right now, and I know that can be a dangerous proposition, it can be a little mind-numbing sometimes, but Les is a very confident head coach. Just read between the lines, listen to what he has to say. I think he knows what he has. He has a juggernaut down in Baton Rouge, and I think he's really looking forward to seeing this team play. I think they roll. I know Mississippi State beat LSU last year 34-29. In Tiger Stadium. That snapped a 14-game losing streak to LSU. But I think that works in LSU's favor. I think every coach on their staff is going to be bringing it up. They're going to have revenge on their minds. They didn't get to play last week. They're going to come out of the gate really, I think, excited. And I think they roll. I'll be watching that game in Phoenix because I'm going to be going to the Saints opener against Arizona. But I will be watching from afar, and I expect to see LSU wear that team down in the second half and win going away. Okay, I don't expect quite as promising an afternoon for the Tulane Greenway. They have to go over to Georgia and play in Atlanta against Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech's number 16 in the country. Paul Johnson runs that veer option flex bone attack. I don't know exactly the name of it, but I just know it's very difficult to stop, and especially for a team like Tulane that doesn't get much out of its offense or its special teams. I just see another long afternoon for their defense. They're going to get worn down. The best they can hope for, I think, is for Mother Nature to cooperate, maybe get a little rain, maybe cool things off, or just give them a break, because if they're on the field too long, they're going to get worn down, because that's what Georgia Tech does to all its opponents. Georgia Tech's a 30.5-point favorite in this game. Tulane has not been that big an underdog since 2012. They were 34-point underdogs to Houston that year, and Houston beat them 73-17. Kind of an ominous stat there, but I also think that Tulane can keep this one close early. I just think they're going to get worn down in the second half. They're not going to be able to keep pace. So let me lay the lumber if I'm Georgia Tech. And 30.5-point favorites, I think Georgia Tech wins this one going away, unfortunately for CJ. They got to get back home and get things straightened out on offense and get back into AAC competition. And I think they'll fare a lot better. Okay, my upset of the week in college football is going to be Tennessee at home against Oklahoma. They're 2-point underdogs. Oklahoma beat them last year 34-10. Revenge will be on the Vols' minds. And look, Oklahoma players were chirping this week about the SEC. I know they've beaten Alabama and Tennessee their last 2 tries pretty handily, but not the smartest thing to do before you have to go and play in front of 100,000 fans in Neyland Stadium. Tennessee is an up-and-coming ascending program under Butch Jones. This is a signature game for them. They get a signature win. I think they win the game straight up. And my other pick in college football is going to be Texas at home against Rice. Charlie Strong, already under fire in Austin, has demoted his longtime assistant, Sean Watson, from the offensive coordinator position. Desperate times in Austin, week 2 already. Desperate times call for desperate measures, and I think Texas is just going to be too physical for Rice. Rice opened against Wagner. I didn't even know they had a college football program, so that's not going to prepare them for what they're going to encounter on Saturday. That's going to be a very, very desperate team, and I think they shut down Rice offensively and score enough points to cover that 14-point spread. All right, let's move on to the NFL. I already mentioned the Saints. I'll be over in Glendale, Arizona for that game, their opener. Look, I think the Saints can win this game. They're 2.5-point underdogs, but I don't think they will. I just think it's too tough of an assignment. They have 12 rookies on their 53-man roster, a lot of them in that defensive front 7. I think Arizona does enough defensively to keep Drew Brees in check. They have a very good secondary. They have good front 7 as well. I think they're going to do enough to keep the Saints from scoring a lot of touchdowns, maybe force a lot of field goals. And I think just offensively they're going to make enough big plays in the passing game against that banged-up Saints secondary, and they're going to be able to run the ball. So this is no indictment of the Saints. I don't think they win this game, but it wouldn't shock me if they did. But I've got Arizona winning by 7. And then my pick of the week in the NFL, I love the Houston Texans. They're at home. They're a 1-point favorite. I don't understand why they're only a 1-point favorite against Kansas City. I think Houston has a chance not only to win their division, but potentially make a deep run in the playoffs. They have 7 first-round draft picks on their defense. J.J. Watt, perhaps the best player in the NFL, has not played a down in the preseason. You think that guy's not going to be spitting bullets when he comes out of the tunnel on Sunday in Houston? I think they're the better team, and I think they, with the home field advantage, I think they win this one going away. So give me the Houston Texans. All right, check back with me on next week. Let me know how I did. I'm sure you will. And everybody have a great weekend, and check back with me here at NOLA.com for the Dunk Shot every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Take care.